Welcome back, family. We are shooting this video, and hopefully you're not seeing this video in February.
I hope so.
Because if you're seeing it in February, you're a little too late. I guess it'll still apply to the next year, to the next December. But today we're going to talk about holiday lights, Christmas lights, where to find them, what our top 5 is. Although I have a feeling we're not going to give you 5. We're probably going to give you more than 5.
Yep.
Our top 5 places to look at Christmas lights this year, 2024.
Let's do it. First, if this is your first time in our channel and you would like to know everything about Houston, Texas, then subscribe below and tap that bell for notifications so you're gonna be the first one to know about what's happening, what we're doing here in Houston, Texas.
We get calls every day from people just like you, and whether you're moving in 9 months or 9 days, we want to make your move to Houston or the greater Houston area as smooth as possible. All information is down below, so if you are interested, reach out, let us know. We're happy to help. So let's get into the holiday lights, the Christmas lights. This is our top 5. Our number 1 is hands down one of my favorites. I would say there are probably 3 other ones, 2 other ones fighting for the top 5.
Yeah.
And there is a number 1 that's not even on the list at all for a very special reason. And we'll do what we think could have been number 1 after we say the actual number 1 too, right? So Christmas lights, Houston doesn't have a lot of touristy type stuff, but we do have a lot of money because Houston, I think, is a really great city to make money in. And because of that, people have extra cash to spend on Christmas lights. So you can have a really good Christmas light show. You can go pay and go into these really cool fancy places, which we'll talk about.
You can go for free too.
Or you can go for free and there's some really cool ones. So I think number 5 is something, it was one of the ones you came up with.
Yes, it's Discovery Green.
Discovery Green. So Discovery Green is where?
It's located in downtown, very close to the Minute Maid Park where the Astros play, and the Toyota Center where the Rockets play.
Yep, it's right in between those 2 areas. It's a big park, really, really beautiful. They decorate it for the Christmas lights. It's actually where a lot of yogis outside of the holidays,
they go and celebrate the National Yoga Day.
Yoga Day.
International Yoga Day.
Hundreds of yoga people just doing yoga at the same time. It's a really cool area. But I really like Discovery Green, especially for our number 5. Number 1, because it's free. And it's not too big. So if you're trying to go there with your grandparents or with small kids.
Or the kids, yeah.
And you don't want to walk for miles upon miles, but you do want to have a good time. This is a perfect balance of it not being too big, but being big enough to walk around and also capture the beautiful stuff for free.
What about the ice?
There is something you can do in Houston that you can't do in Houston, and that's ice skating.
Yeah, that's incredible. Like, you think that you're in another part of the country.
I know, all of a sudden we're like in Connecticut ice skating. I always make a joke though, if you do like to do this, you can tell who was born and raised in Houston and who's not from Houston because of their ice skating skills. Like it's a fun thing. It's really funny, but it's really cool. You do have to pay to do the ice skating part, but it's not that expensive and you don't have to in order to have a good time for the area.
It's so much fun.
So much to do, and it's like the lights are so pretty. They do a good time. I feel like every year they're doing it a little bit better and better and better. However, in between some of these, let's give it one of our bonuses.
Okay, and I'd really like this one, and it's located in the Space Center.
Oh
NASA.
yeah, that was so close to being on the list.
Yeah, the reason why we didn't include it in the list is because it's located a couple hours. Well,
it's a little far from most
far
people.
from most people here in Houston, but it's totally worth it. Travel.
I think it's because of the commitment that it takes to go there, spend the day there, the money and all that stuff. It's probably why it's not on our top 5, although it's absolutely worth every penny to go do it.
Yeah, they decorate the Space Center with lights that goes with their theme.
Yeah, the space theme.
Yeah, exactly. You see planets, you will see rocket ships, you will see airplanes. It's so cool. Galaxy stars.
Actually, the actual installation is called Galaxy Lights.
Galaxy Lights.
And you know they're going to do a good job. Because obviously we think of Christmas lights as Christmassy, but also like imagine Christmas lights in a universe galaxy type setting.
It's so beautiful.
It's so good. It's so nice. It definitely makes it up there. As a matter of fact, it's just the commitment part of it. Like it takes a lot of time sometimes for us to get there, and then you will spend a long time there, and you can make a whole day out of it though.
Exactly. You can, after the NASA, you can go to Kima and have a really good food over there. They have a lot of restaurants. So you can plan the trip for let's say one day in a weekend, and you You're gonna have a great time.
You're there the whole day.
Yeah.
But it's such a great time. I love it. So that's one of our bonuses. We have a couple more to go to, or maybe one more to go to, and then the big number one competition one at the end. But let's go to number 3 on the list. Number 3 on the list is probably...
No, number 4.
Oh, number 4. Okay.
Yes.
Let's go to number 4 on the list. Number 4 is 25 minutes southwest of Houston in Sugarland, Texas.
Sugarland, Texas. If you have seen a few of our videos about Sugarland, we love Sugarland. The city of Sugarland is a beautiful city with beautiful communities with beautiful houses. I know that I mentioned it too many times, beautiful, but it's so beautiful.
It's really nice. It's Sugarland.
So nice.
It's Sugarland. And it's called Sugarland because they used to have a sugar factory there. And it's such a really sweet place to live, no pun intended. I live right on the border of Sugarland and Richmond, and it basically is kind of like Sugarland. It's such a great time. But we have the Houston Astros in Houston, and you have an affiliate baseball team called the Sugarland Space Cowboys. And their stadium in Sugarland, which is a stadium or baseball field, it's really big. It's called Constellation Field, and during the holidays, they convert the entire place into a big holiday light event festival.
It's incredible.
It's absolutely amazing, and I'm talking about the baseball fields. And so number 4 for me, because of the convenience and the time it takes to get through it. You do have to pay to get in, but you get to be on the baseball field or go around the concourse or do a bunch of really cool things. I think it's very memorable, and if for somebody only has a couple hours or an hour of their life to commit to something like this, it's perfect.
Yeah, and what about the brewery remember that we were driving by?
Yes, I think it's only gonna get better. They're making a brewery right across the street or right down the street from it, like not walking distance, but almost walking distance.
Right there, yeah.
I can't imagine like next year is gonna be so awesome when you have the brewery and the Constellation Field kind of next to each other. It's gonna be great. Also, if you like corporate events, a lot of corporate companies or for yourself or parties, they'll rent out the suites or the top areas of this Constellation Field. So it's really cool to have this beautiful view while you have your party. It's awesome. I love it. It's number 4 for a reason. Have you been to the Constellation Field?
No.
It's totally worth doing. Totally worth doing. But you have been to our number 3.
Yes, I have. And it's only like 15 minutes away from the Constellation Field.
Really close by. And it's free.
Yeah, it's free. Pecan Grove.
Pecan Grove, the community. Now we're getting into neighborhoods.
Exactly.
And there's a reason why this neighborhood beats all of these other corporate entity structured Christmas lights.
I would say that the main thing is because it's a cultural thing.
Yes, it's something they've been doing for decades, generations even.
Generations. And it's something where the neighbors who buy houses in Pecan Grove, they know where they're signing for.
They do. They probably are moving in there knowing and wanting to participate with this Christmas light thing. And we're not talking about 4 or 5 houses with, a couple $100s worth of Christmas lights. No. We're talking about hundreds of houses with thousands of dollars of effort and production in their Christmas light show. So much so that they give you a map of all the lights so you know what you're doing, where you're going while you're there.
It's amazing. One of the things that we do to watch the lights in Pecan Grove is one of my cool neighbors that I have. He puts a trailer behind of his car, and we go like 3 families, we go over there, Pecan Grove, and drive around the entire neighborhood. And it's so amazing to see how many people go to see, and like you feel like you're a kid again.
And even if you don't have a friend with a trailer, there's a grocery store close by, Randall's or Kroger, and there is a nonprofit. There is a fundraising for high schools, for football teams, for a lot of kinds of things that you can just pay to ride one of their trailers with the hay bales, and you can get hot cocoa, and you can drive around in the back of a trailer going through these neighborhoods and enjoying the Christmas lights with the entire family. But it's free. You don't have to do that. You can just drive in your car and drive through that neighborhood, and it's just so nice. And I'm not talking about Christmas lights like just a simple Christmas lights. I'm talking about things are moving, there are movies. We're talking about there's music, there's interaction. There's one that says, put your radio at this station, and then everything syncs up. It's wild.
It's wild. And also what I really love that they do is like, they coordinate like 3 or 4 houses where they sell tickets and you can purchase and visit inside houses.
Decorated inside and outside.
Yeah, and they give you also a map where house number 1 is this one, and you go and visit, and then you go to the second one, and all that money goes for charities for local community.
Or
for
fundraising.
Fundraising,
I would say for a lot of people, Pecan Grove is number 1. Just purely on the idea that it's tradition to do it. And you can do it quickly, you can do it slowly, you will do it however you want to do it. It's very, very much enjoyable.
And a few years ago, they tried to enforce it, right?
Oh yeah, I had a neighbor, or one of my clients a long time ago said that when he moved to Pecan Grove decades ago, so this is before he was my client, he said that the HOA tried to make it mandatory to do Christmas lights because they were just so immersed with this is a thing. Obviously, HOA cannot force somebody to do Christmas lights.
Of course not.
But he said that really
they
tried and they couldn't do it. And he said a funny thing that they did at some point, this is a long time ago, they would send letters out to people who haven't put Christmas lights on and say, hey, we noticed that you haven't put your Christmas lights on. Can you let us know when you're trying to do it, as a way to pressure them? It's basically an expectation at this point, but it's also not the thing that they can enforce. But I think people who live there to participate in this. And it's just a really, really good time. And this is a neighborhood that, sure, it is an HOA, it is a community, it's attached to a golf club, it's a country club, it's really, really nice area. But all of those houses are unique. It was during a time, and it still is, where if you got a lot, you can build your own house, your own style. So it's not a cookie cutter type area. It's very much, every house has their own characteristics and their personality, and the lights do too. Let's get into a bonus before we get to number 2 and number 1.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think this bonus is going to knock out number 5. So let's put number 5 down.
Okay.
And bring this one up to number 5.
Yeah, that would be the Houston Zoo.
The Houston Zoo, like the Christmas lights of this. Again, this is number 5 because you have to pay, and it's all this other stuff. But it's an experience to go there.
An experience. It's so beautiful to see how they decorate the zoo. That combination with the animals, and it's a beautiful vibe.
It's a great vibe, and you're going at night, right? Because it's Christmas lights and holiday lights. So most of the animals are more active during the early nighttime anyway. So you get to experience just the zoo in a whole different way. The zoo at night is amazing. And first of all, our zoo lets you do sleepovers. So you can pay to do a sleepover at the zoo, and you get to experience animals like a whole new thing. It's a whole new experience it that way.
And the temperature is so nice.
The weather is so good. It's it's amazing. It's so nice. I can't even find the words right now to explain it, which is why it was before not number 5, but now I kind of want to put it at number 5 because it's such a good time. You get a double whammy. If you're talking about the most bang for your buck kind of experience, the zoo is probably the way to go. You see lights and you see animals. And there's a park right afterwards you can go to and have a good time there too.
That's true too.
Well, I think it's time for our number 2. And our number 2 is unique.
It's
different.
Unique. It's different.
That's why it's number 2.
Yeah, and that is the Botanical Garden.
And you're going this weekend.
I'm going to, in 2 days.
In 2 days, you're going to Botanical Garden. Now, the Botanical Garden is downtown. It's a little bit of a section of a park where you have a lot of flowers and plants, and obviously it's a botanical garden, but it's also areas that have a lot of Asian-themed structures inside of it, like a Japanese garden and things like that. It's one of the most beautiful places. You don't feel like you're in the United States when you walk through that garden. And they take it to a whole new level when they make it into a light show for the holidays.
They don't want to fall behind, and they say, okay, we're gonna do our own show of Christmas lights. That is not Christmas, but it's of course a botanical theme.
Yeah, of course.
They put lights like in flowers, like flower lights. I don't know how to even call it.
Yeah, they shape it in flowers and plants
and trees. Yes, and birds. And they also, because they also celebrate the Asian culture, they extended from November to the end of February, like February 23rd. And you will see dragons, the Chinese castles
and the palaces and the reason they do it for that long is because they go through the Chinese New Year, which is just so cool. So it's not just a holiday Christmas theme. It's a very cultural, very Asian theme, and a Chinese theme specifically for the Chinese New Year. And I just love it.
It's so beautiful.
I just love it. And you can walk around and the pictures you will take while you're there is specifically why it's number 2. I think it's number 2 for me because it's actually like a work of art. So everything else, everything's a work of art. But for me, like they're so intentional about the artistic aspect of this.
It's a must-go.
It's definitely a must-go. Well, let's talk about our number 1.
Are you ready for this one?
Number 1 is really interesting. So let me paint a scenario for you before I talk about our number 1. Imagine a millionaire, multi-millionaire, and imagine you bought a multi-million-dollar home. And imagine that your home is one of the best parts of Houston to live in. And imagine your home is super big and your lot is super wide. And imagine that you have no budget when it comes to your Christmas lights. Imagine that the only limitation you have to your Christmas lights is your imagination. And imagine that's not even a real limitation because you can just pay somebody else to have that imagination for you. Now, all of these things together and you put it in one community where people can go in for free. And you look at these lights and these production shows, and we call that community
River Oaks.
River Oaks community. And I think that's I think it's number 1. It has to be number 1.
It has to be number 1. When you walk into that community, you feel like you're in a movie.
Yeah, you do. So this is where a lot of actors live, a lot of celebrities, politicians, a lot of people who own a lot of things or their dads own things and now they inherited everything. It's a very luxury, high-end place. And when you walk through there, you're just in awe of it. I know when my family comes in town from out of town, we always go through there. You know, you can walk it, you can drive through it, but to me, you're getting this double whammy of Christmas lights, and every square inch of everything is intentional and full of lights.
So coordinated.
The branches, the trees, but also the houses are beautiful and they're wide and they're magnificent.
And that adds so much.
It adds everything to it. Like you said, it's like a movie.
Yeah, it's like a movie. It's probably a scenes from movies that we have seen before.
I bet you they have recorded movies there for that aspect of it.
And it's so coordinated, like it blends all together to this big
picture. I think, and this is my number 1. I kind of voted this one to be number 1 for me personally. The reason it's number 1 for me, and because you can find expensive lights and fancy things in these other houses and other places on this list. But because it feels like a movie, there is something about the emotional experience and what you feel while you're in this place that sells it for me, that makes it just immediate number 1. You'll probably forget which house did what lights and so in years, but you won't forget how you felt.
The wow factor.
The wow factor, the emotional, the Christmassy, the holiday spirit that you feel when you walk through River Oaks or go through it. And that's something you'll never forget. And that's why for me, it's immediately number 1. But however, you had a different number 1.
I will vote for River Oaks to be number 1 too, because it's truly an experience and it's like the wow factor is right there. But Santa Wonderland is amazing. And of course, at the beginning, I didn't think about it because it's a little bit far.
Yeah, it's in College Station.
It's in College Station.
So where A&M Aggies play, and it's about a couple hours away, maybe 2.5 hours away. That's why it's not.
It's not. That's why it's not. But it's incredible, like how big and how, I'm thinking like how many months in advance they're planning this show, because it's so big. You will see, it's like a Christmas country Texas lights. You will see the farms, the barns, all decorated for Christmas. It's so beautiful.
So just so you know, College Station is about 2.5 hours away, and Santa's Wonderland is almost like a theme park for the holidays and Christmas with lights. When you go there, it snows every day. It snows every day when you're there. That's part of their thing, and it's awesome. And if you're like, how does it snow every day? You will just go, you'll see it. And it'll snow. You can have the snowball fight, it's there. There's all kinds of shops and things to do. And then in the back of it, they have, I don't know how, it lasts like 30 minutes. It's like a hay bale ride that lasts a long time, and you go through all of their Christmas lights through this trail. And it's amazing, it's beautiful, it's an entire experience. Now it is a little bit expensive.
It is, but it's cheaper if you purchase the tickets in advance.
If you purchase the tickets in advance, it's cheaper, and it's like a theme park, right? So it's like, imagine going to a Renaissance festival, but for Christmas, it's like that. Imagine you're going to Dollywood, it's like that. Imagine if you're going to, maybe not the roller coasters, but they do have rides and really fun stuff there. It's something that they've invested a lot into making this experience wonderful. And for a lot of people in Texas, this is tradition. This is like, our family goes here every year. every time I go there, I spend a lot of money because I just want everything. And there's really cool things there to experience. I think it's worth it. I think if it was a little bit cheaper and a little bit closer to Houston,
it would be in the list, like
number one.
Yeah,
easily number one. This was our surprise number one. That's not number one. It's just a little bit too far. I wouldn't consider it Houston, and it's a little bit expensive because of so much that they offer.
It's so much. Like only mentioning that it's gonna snow every day.
You already want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think you should do it. But that's our list. And we said 5, but I think we said like 8, 7, or 8 anyway.
I think it was 8 total.
And if you're seeing this, again, if you're seeing this after Christmas, just save it for the next Christmas and come out here. I think all of these places, the cool thing is that these are all areas that have been doing this for a long time and for years, and they're not going away. However, Houston is so full of so many other places. I know when we were doing our research, like just areas in general that we don't know. I mean, there was like 20s and 30s number of places and neighborhoods and communities for Christmas lights. It's everywhere.
Yeah, but if you have that place that for you is very special and you think that you should share with more people, let us know. Send us a text message or comment on this video so we can maybe create like a big list of all the places.
I think we came up with 7. I think if you guys want to comment 18 more and we make a list of 25 places to look at.
It would be worth it to share.
We'll share. I think we'll make a Google Doc with share a link for you guys so you know where Google Maps, so you know where all of these locations are, so you can have quick access to it. But it's so good. I can't wait to do it this year with everybody, and I love recommending it to everybody. And if you are not from Houston and you're thinking about renting or moving or buying or selling, etc. here in Houston, give us a call. We're happy to help. I think one of my favorite things to do is when somebody moves from out of town from Houston, I love showing them these places, and I love telling them, hey, when you move here and you want to do something fun or something cool, let me know. I can connect you with these really cool activities and places to go to. And this is one of the things I do share with them.
So yeah, we're here to help.
See you guys next time.
See ya.